What's going on, guys? This is part 2 of my question and answer. And today I am answering a question from Thomas3120. He asked, what's my favorite favorite game of all time? And then he also asked, what's my system focus for collecting? So, my favorite game of all time would be Final Fantasy III. I was really excited for that game after reading all about it and Nintendo Power, all the hype, saw the cool pictures of Mog and all this stuff, and it's so amazing. And what made the game really was really special to me, and why I liked it so much, was because it came out pretty much like the day after I had a falling apart with one of my first girlfriends, and I was in 7th grade. She was an 8th grader, and her name was Crystal, and we had dated for a few months, or just really hung out, talked a lot, and did the things that 7th graders do, and we kind of just stopped hanging out with each other the day before that came out, and made me get really wrapped up in Final Fantasy III. It was one of the first RPGs I played, and from playing that, I started buying all the older, played all the other Final Fantasy games, 2, Mystic Quest, and then I played, everything from 7th Saga to, I played Paladin's Quest right after then, Robo Trek. I love that Robo Trek game, everything. But it all started with Final Fantasy III, and Final Fantasy III is my favorite game of all time. Now, and just not to mention it, everything about Final Fantasy III, I loved all the storylines. I loved how you could get really, rare items. There was a Coliseum. I know everything you can do in the game now, but at the time, trying to discover it with that big, thick quest book, I got a big, thick strategy guide for it with all the monster database and everything, and I love that. And I don't have those feelings nowadays with games. I don't get into them like that. I don't know why. But my system focus for collecting right now is the NES. I want to get that done. This year I'm doing the NES, and I'm trying to do the TurboGrafx 16, and then I'm just filling up whatever else I find at Goodwill. But games that I will be buying at the store, I buy NES games, I'll buy TurboGrafx 16 games if I find them, and I buy PC Engine and Super CD-ROM games. Sometimes I buy 64 games, or not 64, well yeah, sometimes I buy 64, sometimes I buy Super Nintendo, but I really don't go looking for those. Alright, thank you, Thomas. 8-Bit Goomba asks, in an RPG, do I like melee or magic? Then he asked my favorite mage combo in the original NES Final Fantasy. I like melee primarily in games. I think magic can make RPGs, very, very easy. I loved magic when I started playing the games to begin with, because magic RPGs when I was younger, because magic is a very effective way to deal with all enemies. I loved finding out what was immune to what worked with what, but now when I play even a Final Fantasy game, I know everybody's weakness. I know to use thunder on machines and stuff like that, and I know all that stuff. I know how to put a phoenix down on an undead and kill it. Oh, Final Fantasy talking about really, but for me though, playing games, I try to do a lot of heavy just attacks so the battles last longer, and try to just enjoy the game and make things challenging. I do a lot of low-level games, but, I like having more melee-based attacks, and then, I use magic where I need to, mainly save it for boss fights. That's one reason, Grandia 2 is really fun. I only used melee. I only used my magic in Grandia 2 during boss fights, because I found the magic very, very strong in that game, and it made things very easy. I really didn't even use magic to kill enemies until I got to Rawl Hills Part 2 and started getting into those gargoyle things, and it just they were really strong. But I like melee more in games, but I do appreciate magic, and I'll use it when I need to. My favorite mage combo in NES Final Fantasy, 2 black mages, 2 white mages. It's a great combination early on. You can set up your protection fast, you can keep things healed, and then later on it's a deadly combination with once the holy guys start using their holy attacks and stuff. Let's see where we're at. 5 minutes. Alright. So, 2 black mages, 2 white mages. Don't even like red mages. I think they're an elite class. But anyways, thanks, 8-Bit Goomba. Now, Jodeci Mudvayne. If I opened my own video game store, what 5 main things would I sell and display? I would, it would basically be retro video game based. I would display retro video games, American and Japanese. Anything from UK, whatever. I would sell video games. I would sell board games and, you know, table games. And I might sell card games. But those two I'd have to learn a lot more about, because whatever I sell, I want to know everything about it. I want to know what things are worth, this and that. So, basically retro video games, board games, card games, paintable action figures, and all the tools for paintable action figure stuff. And I'd also like to sell parts for systems, tools for systems, things like that that you can use to fix games. And I would have my own, you know, repair thing there. I do plan on opening a video game store in the next 12 years. So for when I'm 40, I'm going to open a video game store. Until then, I will be collecting everything, and it'll be a retro store. You know, I'll open it in some Boondock County in Missouri and just be chilling. So, you know, that's something I will be thinking about a lot also too. But basically stuff that I know. That's what I'd be selling. Thanks, Jodeci. Check my time limit. 6 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, it'd be nice to have a little timer on the front of these flips, just so I don't be getting up and down. Okay. Now, Bertbug Brent asks, what is my most prized item? At the moment, it would be my Turbo Duo, my US Turbo Duo. When I wanted one of these things, I fell in love with them instantly. I asked Star Soldier, where can I get one of these? And he said, you know, he gave me a few sites or whatever, and I kept looking there, but he said you'd probably never find one in the wild. Well, I considered those used game stores in the wild, because they offer prices that are similar to what things are worth. So I got mine at eStarland.com, and I paid a very good price for it, and I consider that in the wild. It came to me very fast, very nicely packaged, nice system. It's exactly how they described it, and you know, there's not much good stuff on that site. A lot, I don't think so, but definitely once in a while, cool things pop up there. And I got my Turbo Duo. I primarily collect Japanese Super CD-ROM games for it, as I don't come across the US games very often. But that definitely is my most favorite item right now. And you know, there's a lot of things that I really love, but that is definitely my most prized item. So, alright, well, thank you, Bertbug Brent. And I'm going to cut it off there, and when I come back, I will answer a few more. So, thanks guys, thanks for watching.